Hey, I'm ChristopherJMUA and welcome back to my channel. Unless you've never been here, of course, then welcome. I'm so glad you stopped by. Today, we're going to be reviewing the Natasha Denona Circo Loco palette. And I'm so excited to jump into this palette and try it on and swatch it because all of the pictures I've seen of this palette look so beautiful and so perfect for spring and summer. However, it was very expensive, so I'm curious to see if I'm actually gonna think it's worth the price. So if you are curious of that as well, if you'd like to see what this palette looks like, how it swatches, how it performs, and if you'd like to know my initial first impressions, then stay exactly where you are, keep doing exactly what you're doing, and keep on watching. First and foremost, here is the unit carton for the Circo Loco palette. It's got this diamond pattern printed on it, and it's slightly askew. It's not centered. That really bugs my OCD, but I'll survive. It's okay. I actually sort of appreciate the fact that it's not exactly centered. Then on the back, it shows all of the ingredients for each shade, as well as a how to use box right over here for the different types of formulas within the palette. Then if we flip it back over and open it, let's see what the actual component looks like. Now this palette was $129. I did order it from the Sephora website, and the description says that it is a palette that includes 14 shades ranging from pastels to vibrant pigments and pearls. Okay, so the component is exactly the same as the unit carton, except much more shiny and reflective. Those couple of spots that were just on there that I wiped off, I thought that it was the print coming off, and I was so disappointed at first, because for as much as this is, it should be literally perfect when it comes in, but it was just a little bit of shadow on the outside. Now let's see if that shadow came from a broken shade inside. It does have a little protective sheet for the shades, which I always keep and use, personally, and here is the palette itself. It's so bright and colorful. I just love this color story. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and zoom you guys in and we're gonna get started on swatches. The first shade is the shade Firework. Razzle Dazzle. Acrobat. Snow Cone. Oh. Wow. Cotton Candy. Electric. Grin. Cannon. Flip. Fun to Mime. Spiral. Magic. Aerialist. Act. And Joker. And there is every single shade from the Natasha Denona Circo Loco eyeshadow palette. As always, I will insert photos of the swatches, one with flash here, and one without flash here. And to finish off the swatches, here is a video close-up of every single one. I have gone ahead and primed my eyes with my P. Louise base in the shade Rumor 02 to begin, and I just gotta say, I know that swatches have nothing to do with the performance of the shadow on the eyes. However, I'm so in love with this color story, and I love this palette so far, based on that color story. But before I get too head over heels, let's go ahead and create a look. I'm gonna start by using this LaRousse tapered blending brush, and I'm gonna begin with the shade Cotton Candy. And with this shade, I'm just gonna start right here in the inner corner and really build this up. I feel like this is how I start most of my looks nowadays, is just with some bright, beautiful light color right in the inner corner. And I'm just packing this on so far. Looks like it's building up really nicely. I'm not getting any of that weird patchy coloring that sometimes happens with pastels when you go in on a tacky base. It'll have that like dark border around it. That's not happening so far. And then I'm just gonna start using little bitty circular motions to sort of buff this in toward the bridge of my nose. Well, I would say that's a satisfactory $8 shadow. You know, if I was creating just some quick, easy, get out the door kind of look, Cotton Candy and Fun to Mime just in the crease, just putting Fun to Mime on the outer portion and Cotton Candy in the inner portion, and then the Aerialist silvery, pinky, beautiful goodness all over the lid would be so perfect. Maybe a really sharp black wing. Ooh, this palette just excites me. I'm inspired by it. Now I'm gonna use the Wet n Wild P20 brush, and I'm gonna go into the shade Firework. Cause baby, it's a firework. I'm sorry, YouTube. Please don't demonetize me. I have to pay for this palette. Wow, that looks like fire and very, very pigmented. That's super cute. Now something I feel is definitely worth mentioning is there is quite a lot of kickback in the pan. However, I don't see that I'm experiencing really any fallout on the face, so there's nothing on the under eyes, there's nothing that's flicking everywhere. Now I'm gonna try to start deepening things up a little bit. So I'm gonna use this brush from Gerard Cosmetics and go into the shade Joker. Now I am tapping off the excess from this brush because I feel like the brush is a little wide, and if I use too much shadow, it's probably gonna go really far, really fast. So I'm gonna tilt it downward and start putting it on the lid and kind of use the corner of the brush to start blending it upward. Okay, I lied. This brush is too big. So instead, I'm gonna use this lavish tapered blending brush and still go into the shade Joker. And with this one, I'm gonna pull it all the way in to the inner corner. That way I can deepen up the pink at the same time as I'm deepening up the orange. Now that Joker is applied and blended out, I'm looking for just a little bit of magic. So I'm going to go into the shade Magic, and I'm going to use the Lunar Beauty LBE 5 brush. Now I'm going to use this Luxie 246 Precision Crease brush, and I'm going to go into the shade Snow Cone. This shade looks so beautiful. It is so sparkly and miraculous. I love that for the inner corner. That's just a beautiful blue, period. I bet that shade on top of a black base would be completely ethereal. And now, using this other Morphe flat brush that I don't know what it's called for sure, I'm gonna go into the shade Aerialist. This has been the shade I've wanted to go in with since I opened this palette, and I am so excited to. Now let's see what Aerialist looks like on the eye. Well, that was a lot softer than Snow Cone was, but then again, I'm not using a completely flat brush either. I'm using a slightly fluffy flat brush. Ooh, but it builds up beautifully. For the very last touch, I'm going to use this Morphe X Jeffree Star JS10 flat brush. It looks like it's going to fit perfect right here. And I'm going to get the shade Act and put that on the outer corner. It looks like it's almost the same color as Magic, the matte purple shade. So I'm hoping I can sort of use this as my blending shade between the crease and the lid. And slowly but surely pull it forward a little bit so it kind of just melts into that silver. And that is the first part of this look completely done. So now I'm going to go off camera, do all of my face makeup, get everything ready so that we can finish off the lower lash line. Then I can give you guys my final thoughts on this palette. So give me just a second for you, and I'll be right back. Face makeup is done, now let's complete the lower lash line. So I'm going to use the same Lunar Beauty LBE 5 brush that I used earlier in the shade Magic. And I'm going to go right back into the shade Magic because I'd much rather use the same tone so that I can kind of tie the crease and the lower lash line together. Then I'm going to use the ColourPop E23 brush and go back into the shade Firework and smoke this shade out with the shade Firework. Mascara is applied and lashes are done. I decided not to put any falsies on. I didn't feel like it was necessary. I like this look the way it is. Now, for my final thoughts on the Natasha Denona Circo Loco palette. Do I think you need to spend $129 to get a look like this? Absolutely not. I think that you could use plenty of different eyeshadows from different brands to most likely recreate this. I have a strong feeling that this is a pretty easily dupable palette. However, the quality of this palette is really, really nice. I don't know if I could say that it's $9 a shadow worth nice. Now, Natasha Denona shimmer shades, I would always pay $9 a shade for because, oh, look at them. Look at them! And I do know plenty of indie brands that do charge just about as much for a single eyeshadow that is a shimmer or metallic formula. They just don't put them all in one palette and charge you for the palette price. They just charge you for the single eyeshadows. But regardless of what other brands do, I personally am really happy that I bought this palette, and I'm completely okay with the fact that I paid $129 for it. Now, I'm not saying pull 130 bucks from savings and jump on this right now or anything. You know, wait until the spring Sephora sale and get it at 20, 15, or 10% off. If the color story speaks to you and you have the money to spend, then I definitely would recommend it. There was nothing wrong with this palette. There was nothing wrong with any of the shades. Oh, except the cotton candy shade in the inner corner over here with it getting a little bit patchy. But it didn't do it on this side, so I'm pretty sure it was just the way that I was working with it. And with that, that is it from me, guys. I would love to know what your thoughts are. What do you think about this color story? And let me know what you think about how the shadows performed on my eyes and how this look turned out, because I love it. But if you don't, it's okay. I won't be offended. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you want to. Just because it does let me know that you guys enjoyed the content, and it helps me further progress my channel and content creation, knowing that I'm creating videos that you guys enjoy. Also, if you like this look and you want to see more looks like them, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and TikTok. My username is the same for everything. It's just ChristopherJMUA. And if you gain nothing out of this video, if you gain nothing out of any of my videos, please at least gain this. And that is to always remember and never forget that you are absolutely beautiful. And I love you guys. Bye. Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. Thank you for being a friend.